When your cat suddenly starts acting just a little different, it's easy to ignore. Maybe they sleep in a new spot. Maybe they stop jumping as high. Maybe they look at you a second longer than usual. Most people think cats are just weird like that. Independent, moody, unpredictable. But here's the part that doesn't quite make sense. Cats are creatures of habit. They repeat the same patterns every single day. And when those patterns change, even slightly, it's rarely random. In fact, one small shift in behavior can be the only warning sign before something serious happens. And the dangerous part? It's so subtle that most owners miss it completely. According to observations in feline behavior studies, when a cat changes a deeply ingrained habit, they're not just being different, they're communicating. The question is, what are they trying to tell you before it's too late? Something about this behavior doesn't fully make sense. Cats are not like us. They don't complain, they don't explain. In the wild, showing weakness is dangerous. So instead of reacting loudly, they hide it. That means when your cat finally does change something, when they stop doing what they've always done, it's not the beginning of the problem, it's already far along. Most people misunderstand this completely. They wait for obvious signs, limping, loud crying, refusing food. But by the time those appear, the situation is often much more serious than it looks. What's deeper and far more important is this. Your cat has been trying to communicate long before that moment. Small things, quiet things, sleeping in a different place, avoiding their favorite spot, becoming just a little less active. As noted in behavioral observations, cats don't break routines without a reason, and when they do, it often means something inside them has already changed. And if you truly understand what that one small sign means, you won't just notice your cat differently. You might actually save their life. And here's where everything changes. Most people think the biggest danger is what they can see. But with cats, it's the opposite. The real danger is what almost disappears. Not the loud symptoms, not the dramatic moments, but the quiet absence of something that was always there. Your cat used to follow you from room to room, and now they don't. They used to sleep beside you. Now they choose the corner of the room. They used to greet you. Now they just stay where they are. It doesn't feel urgent. It doesn't feel like an emergency. So people wait. But this is the moment most owners miss, the turning point where everything could still be changed. Because when a cat pulls away, it's often not about distance. It's about protection. Cats instinctively isolate when something is wrong, not to be alone, but to hide vulnerability. Research and behavioral patterns show that when a cat suddenly stops a long-standing habit, especially sleeping close or seeking contact, it can be one of the earliest signs of discomfort, pain, or illness. And here's the hardest truth. By the time you feel like something is wrong, your cat has already been dealing with it for a while. So that one small sign, that quiet change in behavior, isn't small at all. It's the moment your cat is still giving you a chance to notice. Think about a normal day with your cat. They walk past you without stopping. You call their name, and they don't respond. Later, they choose to lie somewhere farther away instead of next to you. Most people interpret this the same way. They're just being independent. Cats do their own thing. But look a little deeper. Cats don't randomly reduce contact with someone they trust. Connection, once built, becomes part of their routine. So when that connection quietly fades, even just a little, it's not mood, it's a message, another moment. Your cat jumps, but not quite as high as before. They hesitate before climbing. Maybe they take the long way instead of the easy leap. Most people think they're getting lazy. But laziness isn't natural for a predator. Efficiency is. If a cat avoids movement, it's often because something about that movement doesn't feel right anymore. And then there's appetite. They still eat just a bit less, or slower, or they walk away and come back later. It doesn't seem serious. But here's the deeper truth. Cats are masters at maintaining normal behavior just enough not to show weakness. So when even their normal starts to shift, even slightly, that's when it matters most. Each of these small moments on their own feels harmless, easy to explain, easy to ignore. But together, they form a pattern. And that pattern is your cat's quiet way of saying, something is changing inside me. And this is only the surface of it, because the most important sign isn't just what they do less, it's what they stop doing completely. And when you start to connect these small changes, something becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't random behavior, it's a pattern of withdrawal. Your cat isn't just doing less. They're slowly disconnecting from the world they were once fully part of. Think about how your cat used to exist around you. They noticed everything. Your movements, your voice, your routine. They adjusted to you, waited for you, stayed near you. But now, something shifts. They still see you, but they don't react the same way. Most people assume maybe they're just growing out of it. But cats don't grow out of connection. In fact, research shows they build strong attachment patterns and tend to repeat them over time. So when that pattern weakens, it's not development, it's a signal. And here's the deeper part most people never realize. Your cat is not distancing because they don't need you. They're distancing because something inside them is demanding their attention more than you do. Pain, discomfort, stress. Something internal becomes stronger than their instinct to connect. And cats don't express that outwardly, they turn inward. So the silence, the distance, the subtle absence of provincial behaviors, that's not emptiness. That's your cat focusing all their energy on something you can't see yet. And if you wait for it to become obvious, you're already late. And here's the part most people only understand too late. When this behavior changes suddenly, not gradually, but all at once, it's no longer just a signal, it's a warning. Your cat stops coming to you completely, stops sleeping near you, stops responding the way they always did. And for a moment, it feels emotional, like rejection, like distance. But it's not about how they feel about you. It's about what they're dealing with inside themselves. Cats are wired to hide weakness at all costs. So when something becomes too much, pain, illness, internal discomfort, they don't show it. They disappear from connection. As behavioral patterns suggest, when a cat suddenly breaks a strong routine, especially one tied to safety or bonding, it often means they no longer feel stable enough to maintain it. And this is the moment that matters most. Because now, your cat isn't just hinting anymore. They're struggling, quietly. But here's the difficult truth. Most owners still wait. They wait for something clearer, something undeniable. But cats rarely give you that moment in time. They give you something much smaller instead. A single change, a single absence, a single sign. And whether you notice it or not, that one sign can decide everything that comes next. At some point, if you've been paying attention, everything flips. You stop asking, why is my cat acting different? And you start asking something else. What are they trying to protect me from seeing? Because this was never about mood, never about independence, never about your cat changing personality. It was about survival. From the very beginning, your cat has been managing something quietly, adjusting, hiding, compensating. And all those small signs, sleeping farther away, moving less, responding slower, they weren't random at all. They were the only safe way your cat could say, something is wrong, but I don't know how to show you. And here's the part that changes everything. When your cat stops coming to you, it's not because they don't trust you anymore. It's because they don't feel strong enough to be vulnerable in front of you. That distance? It's not rejection, it's protection. Protection of themselves. And in a strange way, protection of you from seeing them weak. Cats don't ask for help the way we expect. They don't cry out. They don't make it obvious. They give you one quiet chance to notice, one sign, and if you understand it in time, you don't just understand your cat better. You step in at the exact moment they can't help themselves anymore. So here's the simple truth most people never hear in time. Your cat won't scream for help. They won't make it obvious. They won't break down in front of you. They will simply change, just a little at first, then a little more, until one day the distance becomes impossible to ignore. But by then, it was never sudden. You just didn't know what to look for. Because that one sign, the quiet shift in their behavior, the moment they stop doing what they've always done, that's not small. That's everything. It's your cat saying, something is wrong, and I need you to notice. And if you catch it in time, if you trust that instinct, if you act when it still feels too early, you don't just respond, you save them. Your cat doesn't need perfect care. They don't need you to understand everything. They just need one thing, for you to notice before it's too late.